Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. We're going to talk about Monday in just a second. So for those of you just joining, welcome. This is the 10X Goals and Accountability Facebook page where we try and make sure, actually we don't try, there's no try, there's only do. Excuse me. The goal of the page is to help you keep yourself accountable for hitting your targets and your goals, okay? So what I like to do on this page every Monday, and then I repurpose that sucker up on the YouTube, is to take a look at Grant Cardone's strategy of the week, debrief it, maybe expand on it from my own point of view a little bit, right, and throw in my 2 cents on it, and then give you some additional tips, suggestions, ideas, thoughts, whatever it may be, just to take that strategy and really plug it into your life. Really make something out of it. I'd probably say 85, if not 90% of what we do in our company is basically 100% free, right? So we want to deliver as much value to you as we possibly can, and that's what this is about. What I am going to do, though, before I go too much further, is I want to share this on my own stream so other people can see it and join us. So let me just go do that real fast. How was your weekend? More importantly, how was your Monday? And were you looking forward to it or not? Right? So for those of you that are already joining in, thank you for being here, first and foremost. Secondly, hey, did you catch Grant's strategy of the week? We email it out. If you're not getting it every Monday, shoot an email out to me, david@grantcardone.com. Leave me your name and email address, and I'll make sure that you get on that. There's no cost to that at all. Let me just go ahead and share this right now. Share to a group. Start there, posted. Share, and put here, I'm live. Talking about limiting beliefs. All right, so shared. Okay, done. So for those of you that have already tuned in, thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate it. Anything I can help with, feel free to drop a comment in here. I'm going to give a quick summary of Grant's strategy of the week. Then I'm going to circle back and touch on each and every single point. Now, if you've already read it, you'll know that he references Morse code. Morse code is a form of communication from way back in the day. It's this is how people used to communicate over long distances back in the day. Okay, so now bring this to what kind of codes. I love the analogy, right? Because it's not just so much about, hey, here's one way we communicate, but now let's take a look at how are we thinking. And what are the phrases, what are the things that we're saying in our life that have hidden translations, that have hidden meanings? Because if you just hear Morse code and you don't know the code, you have no idea what it is. It's a bunch of dots and dashes and means absolutely nothing and sounds like noise. It's kind of rhythmic, right? But once you know what it is, then you can interpret it better and then act on it. So what kind of Morse code or what kind of transmissions are we putting out there? And let's translate those into what they actually mean. And what I got out of this, when I read down, Grant listed 11 different things that have a secret hidden translation, a code, if you will. And when you translate it, when you break the code, when you take a deeper look at it, I realize that I've had some of these myself, that these are beliefs that are limiting. So there's 11 of them, 11 limiting beliefs that aren't just holding you back monetarily. That's a big piece of it, but it's probably affecting your whole life. So let's break them down word for word. And then what I want to follow up with, because one of the things that I've always loved about when we used to go to a Grant Cardone seminar, or anytime Grant had a workbook that he gave to people, he always had action ideas, things to go with it. So not just the point, not just the data, but something to do with the data to make sure that you really truly get it, you dial it in, and you make it your own. So here's the 11 limiting beliefs. Number 1, I hate Mondays. What's today? It's Monday. Have you ever said it? You ever caught yourself saying it? I hate Mondays. Okay. So what that really means is this. I know I won't make big money this week. If you're already looking forward to the weekend and the week just started, what are you doing? You should be excited about Monday. So the action idea to go with that is this. What kind of goals and targets can you set that would make you literally jump out of bed on Monday morning, not hit the snooze alarm 6 or 7 times, and then have to drag your ass out? Okay. And if you don't have goals and targets that are making you jump out of bed on Monday morning and excited to go to sleep on Sunday night, you don't have goals and targets that are big enough. You got to elevate it. You got to raise it up. So remember this, if you start dreading Monday, something's out. It's a warning sign. It's a red flag. Okay. That you're not going to be making the kind of money that you deserve, and you're not going to be creating the kind of life that you deserve with the money that you're making. Okay, so that's number one. I hate Mondays means I know I won't be making big money, and my challenge to you immediately is to go out there and start getting goals that are big enough that make you literally jump out of bed on Monday, and you can't go to sleep on Sunday because you're so excited about what you're going to do on Monday. Follow? Make sense? Perfect. So, number 2, I am not an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert. Grant says that's code for I'm okay being broke. So what I want to give you right now is do this exercise. Recognize what your purpose is. Ask yourself, what is my purpose? Why are you here on planet Earth? Only you know what that is. I've got some ideas about what that is. That's a different conversation. But think of just for today, what is your purpose? How connected to your why are you? Are you willing to get uncomfortable because of your why? And if whatever your why is not enough to where you're jumping out of bed on Monday mornings, to where you're willing to extrovert yourself if you're introverted, then it's not big enough. So I asked this question on Facebook the other day. What if the word extrovert wasn't just a noun or a description about somebody's either personality or their behavior, but what if it was actually a verb? What if extroverting is something that you do, not something that you have or that you are? So start thinking about, hey, what is my purpose? How connected to it am I, right? Am I in a place where I'm willing to go out and do a live stream on the Facebook? Okay. So, number 3, I've got some stuff planned. I got things planned. I got plans. Okay. Grant's going to tell you that that's a code word for I'm procrastinating. Unless you can actually put specifics on what that is, when you say, hey, I got plans, unless you can actually rattle off what those specific things are, you're procrastinating. Okay, so here's the exercise to go with that. What is your motivation style? Are you a person that is motivated towards something, or are you a person that's motivated by getting away from something, right? So a good, successful person should have a little bit of both. You should be moving towards something that you want, but specifically moving away from something that you don't. And I think Grant, just in and of itself, is a prime example of what he's done, right? Because there was a huge issue in 2008, 9, and 10, okay, which crippled him hard, right? It was a hard thing for him to go through with the financial stuff. And if you don't know the history, just go back and do some research on it. But he's been moving away from that. He recognized, he talks about it in the 10X rule book, I'm guilty of it myself, that you're not thinking big enough. You weren't, he wasn't, I'm not, I'm still not. I'm still working on that. How can I expand my think? How can I think bigger? Okay. So you need to be moving away from something that you don't want while moving towards the things that you do. You have to have both. So when you add time to something through procrastination, it doesn't make it any better, honestly. Maybe wine, cheese, but in terms of you creating something that you want in your life, adding time to it is not going to help. So, hey, I got plans to go to the gym does not mean you went to the gym. It means you have plans to go to the gym. But it didn't mean you went and you worked out. Hey, I got plans to spend 6 hours on the phone today. That's a plan. Without the action, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean jack squat. Okay. So if you're not doing it, there's more to it. You can't just plan. You got to take some action. Make sense? So the next one goes right into this, which is I'm trying. Yeah, and the strategy, Grant says, that's code for I'm about to quit. So what I want you to think about for a second was, when was the last time you quit something? Where are you at on that? Because we're going to go back to this no try, only do thing. Remember our good buddy Yoda? Do or do not, there is no try. Now the good news is if you're about to fail or you're about to quit and you feel like you're trying and you've tried everything and you just can't get it, there's only one way to fail, and that is to quit. Okay, so the exercise that I want to give you is to stop trying, especially if you're thinking about quitting. Stop trying and start doing, and then start getting better at the doing. It takes 10,000 hours to be a master, but it takes about 20 hours to become proficient. So if there's something that you're not good at and you're trying to do, stop trying, start doing, and start getting better at the doing. You're doing something. Okay? Learn from your mistakes through your actions also. That's the other thing. You should either win or learn. Okay? So you're not going to try, you're going to do, okay? You're going to make a mistake, you're going to learn from that mistake, and you're going to do again. But you're going to do again better. Right? Okay, now, number 5, that's not my job. This is something that grinds my gears. Anytime I'm out in a service-oriented situation and somebody says that or I hear that, grinds my gears. I don't know about your gears, but it grinds mine, okay? What Grant says in his strategy is, when you hear that, the guy is saying, or the gal is saying, that I am a follower and not a leader. So let me just talk about how this relates to a business for a second. In our office in Miami, we have a policy. If the phone rings more than twice, it's for you. Love that policy. Okay. You want to take the owner's mentality as if it is your business. Okay. If you see a piece of trash, pick that sucker up. Right. I know I have a guy who is a leader in a sales organization, and it's a retail establishment, and he sees people coming in. And one of the things that he looks for is, will that person, before they've even interviewed, if they see a piece of trash, do they pick it up? Or do they go past it? Right? That might even be a hiring strategy about maybe placing some trash around in places where you know the applicant's going to walk, and just to see what they do with it. If they even notice it, right? They should notice it. Wouldn't you agree? Okay. So here's the deal. Whatever your job description is, this is the bottom line. Your company's survival, it is your job. That is your job. Okay? Because if they're not surviving, you're not getting paid and you're out of work. And if you don't have legitimate interest in seeing your company survive and grow and thrive, you're probably in the wrong company. Right? Does that make sense? It might be time to check out a different gig. Okay? If you're not willing to go the extra mile for your company, then you are in the wrong company. Period. There's no debating that. So what that means, though, is that before you quit your job and go find a better company, you started there for a reason. You had passion for it at one point. Something came out. Something went out. And if you're not doing your absolute rock bottom best to make it the best place ever, before you quit, try that first. That's just my tip for you. So if something is out of whack, it's usually due to one of two things. Either the perception, right, how you see it, or your process, what you're doing. So make sure that how you see it and what you're doing about it is totally in your control before you bounce out of there, okay? Here's number 6. Money isn't everything. Now that is code for I've quit financially. Let me just tell you something from personal experience. Money isn't everything until it is. I could probably leave it at that. But the exercise I'm going to give you was, think about this. When was the last time you couldn't do something because you didn't have the money? When was the last time that you could do something because of the money? Think about both of those incidences and which one, how did they both feel? What's the difference, right? What's the difference in those two feelings? When was the last time you looked at a price on something and you're like, man, that's ridiculous. That's too much. I ain't paying that. Who came up with that? right? There's houses in our neighborhood just down the just probably I'd say a quarter mile down the road. They rent monthly rental over $7,500. And I'm on this Nextdoor app, right? I don't know if you're on that or not, but there was people just freaking out about the cost of that thing. And I'm like, so the price of something should either when you see something that you think is too expensive, it should be motivating for you to get to a place to where it's not. Right? That's all it should do. It should get you excited, it should get you motivated, it should think, hey, how can I create that kind of prosperity in my life to where that's not too much for me? It's an indication. There's a great video on YouTube where Grant talks about that. If you see something that's too much, it's an indication, or it should be, that you're not making enough money. Okay? So when you start saying things like money isn't everything, it is you trying to make sense of the fact that you're not making enough. Truth. True dat. Okay? So let's look at number 7. Patience. Patience is a virtue. So Grant says this is code for I'm not in a hurry for success. Okay, so let's just take a hard look at this, because patience is a virtue, in my opinion, is a dichotomy of the highest order. Okay, I have to refer to my notes on this one, all right? So huge dichotomy. I'm going to tell you why. So in our office in Miami, there's this really cool sign that I love. It says, hey, Michelle, thank you for being here. It says this. It says, we're in a hurry to help your people. Love that, right? We're in a hurry to help your people. Grant also teaches us that speed is power. Okay, the faster you go, if you want to get through a brick wall, right? He said that in one of his workshops. You want to get through a brick wall, right? How you want to be going fast when you get to the brick wall, if you're going to get through it, right? Speed is power. Okay, we talked about this earlier. Take time out of a deal, right? Don't procrastinate. Take time out. Whatever that deal is, whether that's you going to the gym, whether that's you closing a customer, whether that's you servicing a customer, the faster you do it, the better off you're going to be, right? So speed is power, okay? So we're in a hurry to help people. We want to help people because we know that our content changes, saves lives. So the faster I get it to you, the faster I can start having an impact, right? But here's the dichotomy. Go outside, plant a seed of any sort, tomato seed, an oak tree. And I want you to just yell at that seed as loud as you can to hurry up. Try it. Ain't gonna work. You can yell as loud as you want, and that sucker is not gonna grow any faster. Period. So that's the dichotomy. So if speed is power and you're in a hurry to do something, but at the same time, you have to water it. You got to make sure it gets the right fertilizer. You got to make sure it gets the right sun. You have to make sure that it gets all the things that it needs so that it can grow accordingly. You having urgency about your tomato plant growing fast is perfect because it's going to supply nourishment. So where does the patience come in? That's the dichotomy. You have to work that out for you. You have to know that let's roll. But at the same time, I'm nurturing something here, right? I think it's 48% or so 48% of salespeople don't nurture a lead. What is that? 40% of salespeople don't follow up. They don't nurture their leads. It takes 8 to 12 attempts to get somebody into communication. But you don't, so you may be in a hurry, but at the same time, man, you gotta nurture that thing. Otherwise, it's not growing. Does that make sense? Tracking me? Following me? Facebook? What's up, guys? All right. Next one. You guys clear on patience as a virtue? If you have a question about that, if you want to argue it out, go for it. Because here's the deal. The next one I think is really, really interesting. I've got homework for you, and I want you to come back after the homework, and I want you to leave what you find inside these comments, okay? Because here's the next one. Put your money in an IRA or a 401k. Now, Grant is going to tell you that means that you're not confident or certain with handling your money. You'd rather give it to somebody else that's going to charge you a bunch of fees and give you the leftovers. Here's the exact quote from the strategy of the week. Put your money in an IRA or a 401k is code for you have no clue what you're doing with money. So we're going to take your money, charge you a bunch of fees, and give you the leftovers. Okay, so what I want you to do, the exercise I want you to do to really get this one dialed in, because this is an important thing on multiple levels as far as I'm concerned. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to go look up the word economy in the dictionary, and then more importantly, look up the etymology of the word economy. And once you know what the etymology, meaning where did that word come from, right? What's the history of that word? How did it come into play? Once you know what that is, what I want you to put in comments later, come back, and in comments, I want you to put down what you're going to do about it now that you know what it really means. How it impacted you, how it's affecting you now that you truly understand the meaning of the word, okay? So, yeah, Michelle says never do that. I know what I'm doing with my money. So, that's that. Now, on to number 9. Here's your code word for number 9 is I don't have time. That is code for this isn't a priority for me. I'm going to tell you hands down, any time you have ever thought to yourself, I don't have time, recognize this and only this. You have not made it a priority yet, okay? Here's the exercise. Write down everything that you believe you don't have time for. Just make a list. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to read. I don't have time to study. Okay, and then take full responsibility for the fact that you've not made it a priority yet. But that's only the part 1 of that exercise. Part 2 is I want you to write down, inventory your entire day. What did you do today? Because those are your priorities. What you did today is your priorities, right? So then find the things that you can discard that is a priority, get rid of it, and plug in the right thing that you know is the right thing to do, okay? So number 10, we're almost done. Number 10 is this. It's not the journey, or it's the journey, not the destination. Who's heard that before? Who's said that before? It's a very easy thing to believe and to allow into your reality. This is actually code for I have no clue what I'm doing. And you're admitting it. I have no clue what I'm doing. And you're admitting it, okay? So let's just talk about this. It's the journey and the destination. It's not just the journey. It's not just the destination. It is frickin' both. And you need to do both, okay? Because you can use it's about the journey, not the destination, to make sense of failure. Okay, so look, here's the deal. If God is real, let's just talk about that for a second. If God is real and the theory of evolution is also correct, then as beings made in his image, we're all on a journey of learning and discovery and winning. But if you don't have targets, then you're just wandering aimlessly. You need to have an end result. It is the destination. If you want to go somewhere, you need to have a destination. If you have a good time along the way, that's fantastic, right? Road trip, baby. But you're going somewhere. So do not excuse yourself from reaching a certain destination in your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, by talking about it's the journey. No, it's the destination. You're going somewhere. You're going somewhere whether you know it or not. The question is, who's controlling that journey? Are you in control of the journey? So, if you need milk and you're going to the store, there's a destination and there's an end result. If you have to go to the bathroom really bad, it ain't just about the journey, I promise you. So there's a great quote from Neil Donald Walsh. He wrote a great book called Conversations with God. He said, life is not a process of discovery. It is a process of creation. Okay, so that's your homework on that. Think about this. Are you discovering life or are you creating it? Frankly, I think either way, you're creating it either way. Whether you know it or not, you're creating it. Okay, and I'm going to get into that in a second. But just think about that. I'm going to move into number 11, and I'm going to wrap this whole thing up. Okay, number 11 is this. I'll get to it when I get to it. Now that is code for I'm overwhelmed and I'll never get to it. I'll get to it when I get to it is code for I'm overwhelmed and I'll never get to it. Okay, so have you said that before? I mean, I have. I'm just going to tell you. I mean, I've said it before. I've been overwhelmed. I used to wait tables in 10 bar. I used to work for TGI Fridays back in the day. I'd have 15, 20 tables going and someone asked me to do something and I'd be like, yeah, I'll get to that when I get to it. Because I had a lot going on. And I was overwhelmed. And I didn't ever get to it. Why? I didn't have time for it. Why didn't I have time for it? Because that wasn't a priority because I had other things. I was in triage mode because we're slammed. Right? Michelle's creating. Love it. So, who have you said that to before? And then why did you say it? More importantly, why did you even commit to doing it in the first place? Okay? So, just confront it with yourself and then anybody else regarding that thing that you're not doing, that you're going to get to when you get to it, and just admit it. Hey, I don't have time for this. It's not a priority. I apologize. Take full responsibility for it. Because again, we come back to where are we at? We're in control. Okay, and overwhelm is something that you choose and decide. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, pick something, handle it, and then pick something else. And you keep picking, and you keep handling, and you keep picking, and you keep handling. Next thing you know, you're in control. Okay? So the thing I'm going to leave you guys with is what this all comes down to for me. My number one takeaway out of this whole deal is your environment. Your environment is a creation that you make and you determine. And there are three key things that are going into you determining and creating your environment in your life. It is your thoughts, it is your decisions, and it is your actions. And I'm going to break those down for you real fast as well. Okay? The thoughts you have, that's the first and foremost. You're going to have good thoughts and you're going to have bad thoughts. Anybody having a Wizard of Oz moment? Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Okay? Are you a good thought or a bad thought? What is it? You have them both. And sometimes they just pop up. They can come out of nowhere. There's usually some kind of root history behind it, but I mean, they're thoughts, okay? So now you have a decision to make. You have to decide what you're going to do with the thought. More importantly, you have to decide what kind of meaning you're going to give that thought, which is it a good thought or a bad thought? And then does it have any value? Which means you have to make a decision about, do I keep the thought and do something with it, or do I just chuck it? What are some thoughts that you have? Well, you have thoughts every single day. You have good thoughts, you have bad thoughts. What do you do with them? Do you even act on them? Because that's the third thing, which is action. Okay, so you have good thoughts and bad thoughts. You have to make a decision about what those thoughts mean to you, what you're going to do about them. You're going to keep them and act on them, or you're going to chuck them. And then once we decide to act on a specific thought, is it the right action? And am I doing it at the right frequency or the right volume? Because if you're looking to create something, it's going to require action. And it's going to require thought bigger than what you thought and actions bigger than what you anticipated, period. Okay, that's just the way it is. So you need the right actions at the right volume. You need consistency or frequency, and then you need real-time correction and adjustment. Because again, it's about the destination. While you're on your journey, where are you going? How are you getting there, and are you adjusting accordingly? Okay, so to wrap all this up, where are your thoughts coming from? And are you in control of that? Are you controlling the content that's coming in here? Where are you learning and refining and practicing and correcting your actions? So if you don't have an answer to that, if you're in sales or you're in business, and if you're getting where your thoughts are coming from, the content. If it's coming from Fox News or CNN or the media in general, if you're not in full control of that, then you need to take it. And we have a program. You didn't think I was going to talk for 30 minutes and not have a call to action? We have a program specifically designed to help you control the content that comes into your brain. And if you're in business or in sales, which is both, then we have training for you specifically on refining, practicing, and correcting your actions and understanding the volume you need to take in order to create the kind of success you want. It's called Cardone University. And if you'd like to get some access to it, we're doing a 7-day test drive. I'll get you behind the wheel at Cardone University. I will show you 2 things you can do to immediately increase your sales volume 15 to 30% in the first 90 days on the program. If it's just you, I'll get you free access. If you've got a sales team, I'll show you exactly what to do with that program, with your team over a 7-day period to produce some results. Either way, we're in a hurry to help. So you can email me, david@grantcardone.com. You can call me direct at the office, 310-777-0352. You can go to this website, cardonesolutions.com/CardoneU or /10xyourteam, cardonesolutions.com/CardoneU or cardonesolutions.com /10xyourteam, and get yourself hooked up for some access to that program so you can see what you can do with it, right? If it's a fit, great. If not, it'll be a fit. All right, hey, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you spending some time with me tonight. Thank you very much. This will be here. I'm leaving it up. I'm also going to download it and throw it up on the YouTube later. Need anything from me? Reach out, 310-777-0352. Don't forget, you got homework. So I want you to come back into these comments and leave your new interpretation of the word economy. Thanks for watching. Happy Monday. Have a great rest of your week.